What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Stay Strong, Stay You podcast. I am beyond excited for this episode. I feel like I need to bring down my energy, but I know he's going to bring the energy with us. So who do we got, Monica? Let's bring it.
What up? I'm super excited too. So we're bringing on, as a special guest today, we got Marcus Black. Now, Marcus Black is a former pastor of many years and current urban missionary, providing leadership and mentoring programs to serve inner city schools. He's a traveling inspirational speaker, life coach, and host of the Vitalize Podcast. He's also the best-selling author of Asleep at the Wheel and one of our leaders of the Embrace Your Ambition movement. I have been blessed to be connected to such an amazing soul of a person and cannot be more excited to introduce the Marcus Black, aka mblackspeaks.
What up, family? Yo, what's good? Yo, we in the building. I'm super excited. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here with you, Becca, and you, Monica, these rock stars. Listen, y'all don't realize how lucky you are to have these two as leaders of the movement, of people who are speaking into you on a regular basis. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm in the building, because I believe in them. I love and appreciate them. And I can't wait to get into this. Let's go.
The love is mutual, my friend. First question we got for you is, what is it about you that makes you stand out? We could answer it, but we want to hear from you. What is it that makes you stand out, Marcus Black?
Okay, peep this. So that's a question that we all got mutual mentors, Mr. Trent Shelton. That's the first question that he asked me when I started working with him. And he said, what's your superpower, man? What's your magnet? What's the thing that draws people to you? And I didn't know. I don't know. It took me a while to figure that answer out to that question. But a lot of people think it's a lot of things. Some people think it's energy, which, I mean, I could give you that. I don't think that's it. That's not the magnet. There's plenty of people running around yelling on cameras and stuff. Like, that's a piece of it, plays into it, but that's not it. There's also all these other things that are happening. I'm trying to think what other people have said it would be. Is that at the end of the day, what it boils down to, what I've learned is what makes me who I am is, number one, my story and my heart, my compassion for people, like all people. Like, it's a different level of care. That's what I do it for. That's a promise that I made to God after a dance with death. After death and I did the tango, I promised God, you kept me. I don't know what you kept me for, but because you did, I'm gonna spend the rest of my natural born days on the planet giving life into other people. But with that, that's what makes me who I am. But what makes it resonate with people is my ability to make people feel. I don't care what the topic is. Like, we can get out of all of this, like, theory and all of the fluff and all of the stuff, tactics, strategies, and I can make you feel me so that you can, the topic that I'm speaking to you about pierces your heart and you can do something with that.
Yes, I am going to second that and say yes. You definitely bring it. Now, I've had the opportunity to be present live with you and in person to actually hear you speak. And you give a visual story, right? Every time you speak, and you spoke that the times we were there at Embrace Your Ambition, I could visualize exactly what you were telling me. Because I felt like you were speaking directly to me. I don't know about everybody else that was in the room, but you were speaking directly to me. And then, when you talked about all you got to do is put one foot in front of the other, it's like I could see myself just moving forward. And you're a visual storyteller, not just a storyteller. You're a visual storyteller. And then you can feel the presence. I'm telling you, this man carries the Holy Spirit in him everywhere he goes. He is so loving. He's so compassionate, and he definitely brings the fire. So yeah, I can definitely agree with you, Marcus, on that. You definitely make people feel, even being part of the EYA family and just seeing you live with Ashley, I feel it. I feel it every single time. And he's always present. He is always present.
I appreciate that. That really means a lot. And, that's what I strive to do. That's who I strive to be. So the fact that it is perceived and received, and you see that, like I always tell people, like, when telling stories, that's a superpower, the ability to tell a story. But sometimes we get so in our own head, we make it about us and we tell it the way we want to tell it, and we get so rehearsed and we want it to be perfect. It don't have to be perfect. I don't tell the story from that vantage point. I tell the story in a way because I want you to see it, because at the end of the day, it's not about, even though it's my story, it's not about me. It's putting you in the seat so you feel your own story and you see yourself in the story. The story comes to life for you, and then you can see the steps you need to take to change your situation. All right, listen, we already out here. Let's go.
I cannot agree more with both of you. And what I love about it is obviously your energy, it's your heart, it's your character, it's who you are. And what I've had to recognize is people like you and people like Trent, and now I'm seeing it within my own life, is I think we have these kind of like characters and these hearts and these energies where people with anxiety and depression, I feel like cling on to that because it escapes us from our pain that we don't want to freaking deal with. Yet I know for myself, I had to become addicted to that so I could become addicted to my personal development. Because if we could become addicted to negativity, we can become addicted to God. We can become addicted to, our personal growth. Like we could become addicted to so much. But like, that's why I think people like cling on to your energy, to Trent, to, Monica, to me, like so many different people, because we just care so much about individuals, but we care more about their personal development and growth because we want to see everybody freaking win.
I wholeheartedly agree. And again, like I'm not gonna, I get a lot of requests for a lot of these, and it's hard to keep up with them. But for you guys, it was an absolute no-brainer, not only because y'all are part of the family, but because I believe in your message and your mission. It's the alignment of the hearts, and it's the power that you possess to really impact people. So like you said, I'm just grateful that I get to be a part, man. I'm grateful for this conversation.
Well, speaking of our mission, that's our second question gets into is, that our mission is to encourage and inspire to recognize that their strength is being vulnerable and giving their pain a voice. So how have you been able to turn your pain into your power and give your pain a voice? And what are you doing today to help others to give their pain a voice?
Listen, man, there's nothing more powerful than bearing your soul. I tell people this all the time. I'm like, the most beautiful thing a person can do is to become naked. And I say that sometimes people are like, what? I'm like, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about internally, emotionally. When you can take all the layers of the BS that you've been through in your life, you can shed that stuff and just be. You can just be you. You realize there is something so special and so unique and so powerful and so beautiful just about you. And it's that alone. And then when you realize that you belong, and when you realize that nothing you went through was able to stop you from living and becoming what you are and who you are today, right now. And so whatever you're going through it's not going to. But this is the thing that we need to realize. Somebody right now in this moment is sitting in the seat in which you sat, and they don't see their way past it. And so when you become vulnerable and you bear who you really are, the essence of you, and you become vulnerable about your difficulties and your greatest adversities, when you do that, then that lets that person know, oh, wow, I'm not alone. So someone else has been through what I've been through. Wait a minute. They seem like they're doing good, though. I'm not doing good. How are they doing good? And then they want to tap in, and they want to learn more, and they want to listen. And when they see the steps you took, and maybe you're not where you're going to be, you're still in the process of becoming, but you're not where you used to be. And that's big for somebody who is where you used to be. They need you, because you then become the key that unlocks the situation or unlocks their destiny. I always tell people like this. Think of it like clouds. I live in Oklahoma, man. It's always raining and storming and cloudy, like Tornado Alley. It's a real thing. It's wild out here. But I always tell people, like, when those proverbial clouds hover, they do it all the time. They just over you, and I feel like you can't shake them. It's tough. And then it gets dark. Well, dark is a scary place to be. And this world is full of it, full of hatred, full of all types of like evil. It is hurtful, it's crazy, people wilding out here. It's dark. So how then do we change that? And the way that we change that is to be the light. You don't need to find the light. You are the light. And when you express who you are from the depth of what you've been through, with the point from the vantage point of I want to lift you up to help you overcome what I overcame, and then we can keep overcoming together. When you do that, you have now illuminated light into darkness. And that's what I strive to do every day of my life. I'm doing that through people, I mean, all type of stuff. I just posted a video for our dear friend, our mutual friend, Christine, sent the message to her class. And a lot of people seen that, and I got 5 requests like, hey, my kids are testing too. Can you make a video? Hey, my school's testing. Can you make a video? So that's just one way to show up and give life to kids who are having anxiety over standardized tests. That's hard. I feel you. But also showing up and speaking for companies, speaking for schools. I was at my school this week speaking. We lost a kid, a student, 16 years old. And that happens, unfortunately, too often in these schools. But able to be there, to be a resource for the teachers and the kids alike, speaking life into them through my situation, through losing people in my life. How do you cope with that? How do you grieve properly? How do you go through the steps of grief? Some people don't even know what that is. So then we're talking about all of these things, and then embrace your ambition. I'm like, man, there's a whole bunch of dreamers on the planet that got something inside of them that's like, it's there waiting to be birthed, but maybe you need a kick, maybe you need support, maybe you need a cheerleader, whatever you need. So showing up with that, taking that show on the road and just breathing life into people because I can.
Hey. You want to ride, man? I'm telling you, that was fire.
I see this breath taken away, like absolutely. Who? What? The number one thing, and I wrote it down: become naked. Like that is huge, and the power to just be. Like just sit there. I think that is something that is so underrated because it's within those moments that we often are getting the answers from God that we need, and too often than not, people are afraid to sit in silence because that's when the demons come. That's when we start to overthink. That's when we start to self-doubt. Yet when we just be and we just give it all up to God, we can find the answer within the silence. So I say go sit down and have some silence. But what do you got to say, Monica?
Yeah, so I've talked about this before only because I did it. I intentionally isolated myself. And when I intentionally isolated myself, it's different than when God isolates you, because when God isolates you, that's a whole different feel. But when I isolated myself and I put myself into that darkness, right? Not because I needed to be in the darkness and didn't see my light. It was because I knew that from the situation I was in, I was going to be able to overcome it, but it was going to require me to do the work and take the action, So when I realized what my worth was, and I started to take that action, it was like, I didn't have to be in a light. I could be in the darkness because like Marcus said, I was that light, and I know we've heard this before, that so often we see people trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. But while you're searching for that light at the end of the tunnel, it's you that's the light. We heard that. I'm telling you, when you get to a point, you start to elevate and God has to bring you back. Because a lot of times you start elevating so high that you start getting past what the work is. Right? What's your ultimate purpose? When you figure out what your ultimate purpose is, and mine is to be able to motivate others to become better versions of themselves. And when you start moving up higher than where you're supposed to be, because God will check you real quick and bring you back and remind you that, hey, you still got a purpose before you start getting to that point, because you're not ready to be there. And that's tough, man. I'm telling you, that's tough to accept the fact that I want to be higher than I am right now. But for some reason, God has pulled me back. And so when you change your perspective as to why he put us here and why I'm at where I'm at, I always look at it 2 ways. It's either he's trying to prepare me for something that's bigger than I could see, or he's protecting me from something. I'm telling you, Marcus, you brought that fire.
Hey, this ain't a game. You triggered a thought in me, and I talk about this often. I got little kids, and with them, Spider-Man is a big thing in my house, and Miles Morales, the movie, and there's the soundtrack. And I know one of the songs on the soundtrack is called Scared of the Dark. It's like, I'm not scared of the dark. And, you talked about inserting yourself in the dark. It's because you weren't afraid, but it's because you knew you were the light. And that song says, I'm not scared of the dark. I'm not running because I'm not afraid of the fall. I'm not scared of the dark because why would a star ever be afraid of the dark? And you realize that you really are. You are a shining star, especially in God's eyes. You are the light. So I just had to throw that in there, man. Ugh.
You gave me the chills.
So one question that is unplanned that I want to throw your way is, that I came to you about starting my faith journey and wanting to do all that. And I'm thinking about the moment that I was sitting underneath the tree, thinking about throwing in the towel to my life, and God threw the towel back at me by bringing, Trent's video across my phone. Yet as I look back on my life, there's been moments a lot of different moments where God threw the towel back into my life. And I never recognized, that's when I should have really started my faith journey. So what would you say to that person who may be thinking about throwing in the towel to their life or looking to start a faith journey? What would you tell that person right here, right now?
Yo, peep this. It's funny. I was sitting with a teacher at my school yesterday. Y'all probably heard this before. You guys have, but they haven't. So you're going to hear it now. You're going to learn today. I was sitting with a teacher at my school, and he was building a puzzle, right? He had this big puzzle. I was like, dang, man, that's a lot. I love puzzles. I got a credible message about puzzles. He's like, really? I said, yeah, man. He was putting it together, and I sat down. Next thing you know, I'm trying to put pieces together too. And one of the beautiful things about puzzles is they're a picture, but one of the not so beautiful things about puzzles is they hard. I ain't talking about a 10-piece puzzle. I'm talking thousands of pieces. That's hard, and it's time consuming and can be frustrating. That's not too dissimilar to life, man. And so when I look at that puzzle, think about it. I'm like, man, I asked him, so what if you got to the very end of this puzzle and you were missing a piece? You don't even know where it went. Like, I just opened, it's a new puzzle. Where did the piece go? You're looking everywhere, looking under the floor in your pockets, can't find the piece. It doesn't matter how pretty that picture is. There's going to be a hole inside of you. You're going to feel empty because the picture is not complete. So the picture is not complete without the missing piece. That's when a revelation hit me. And I was like, yo, life is the puzzle. Life is the puzzle. Life is a puzzle. It's literally you stumbling through life from one season to the next, trying to do the best you can with the circumstances and the hand dealt with you to put together the pieces. But I need you to understand, while you feel like you're putting together the pieces of life, life itself is the puzzle and you are the piece, which means without you in it, the picture will never be complete. So if you're the person that's thinking like, man, I don't even know if it's even worth me being here, or nobody would care anyway if I wasn't, that's a lie. The picture will be forever incomplete without your piece in it. So then it's like, well, where does faith come into that? When you choose to put your piece in the puzzle, now you choose the difficulty that comes with life, the pain that comes with life, the heartbreak that comes with life, the bullying that comes, all of the negative effects and the dark side of life, because there's a duality. Just like there's good and there's God, there's bad and there's evil, there's Satan, there's an adversary that does not want you to live an abundant life. So then how do I deal with that? How do I cope? How do I deal with the overwhelm and the stress and the mental health and the anxiety and the depression? How do I deal? I tell people, you need an anchor. That's where faith comes into play. Faith literally is anchoring yourself to a rock, the rock. Here's why that's important. An anchor is a mechanism that buries, it's attached to ships, and it buries deep into the ground, and it just grounds a ship so that the ship does not become lost at sea. Here's the thing. The mistake we make is thinking, well, I've tried faith and life was still hard. I still fell on my face. I still had the attack of the enemy. I still been struggling with anxiety and depression. I still been hurt. So why choose that when I'm still hurt and still in a precarious, difficult position, to which I'll remind you, if you ever look, I'll be watching Deadliest Catch. Listen, don't judge me. I'm like, man, this stuff is crazy. It's wild. Ships tossed to and fro. And I'm like, they throw out these like massive anchors, like the size of a house. I'm like, that's crazy. It's like massive chains, like the size of my arms. This is like running deep down into the ground. But that ship is still doing this. I'm like, you might, well, what's the point of the anchor? The anchor was not created to stop the ship from feeling the elements. It was only created to keep the ship from losing itself in the storm. So your faith then was not given to you to stop you from feeling the pressures this world has. It's meant to keep you from getting lost in the sauce and from losing yourself in that pain, and to remind you that in the end, you win, because then you get eternal peace. You get the hope of knowing that one day you get to be in a place where that storm ceases to exist forever. And so you get a safety net and a blanket that keeps you through everything you could ever go through.
Wow, Marcus. Oh my gosh. You gave the anchor just a whole new meaning. I had never heard anyone give that type of an analogy on an anchor. That was incredible. And again, just goes back to that visual storytelling, because I could see that boat moving on the water, but not escaping the how much room it had to move, even though the anchor was in the ground. Bro, that is just amazing. I will tell you that. Now, when you were talking about the puzzle pieces, it's crazy because my church's motto is, where the only missing piece is you, right? It's huge for us. And it's called I Belong. And because, it's you that deserves to be in the presence of God, is you that deserves to have the promises and love that he's supposed to be giving, to you. It's you that get the opportunity to be awarded and receive that love, that unconditional love, the things that we're looking for. This person, this entity, this spiritual person, our Father, gets to provide all of those things for us. And we fail to understand that when we're faced with those adversities, that because our flesh, which causes us to fear and causes us to worry, does not allow us to see the greatness that he has for us. Bro.
Hey man, y'all in here preaching. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, I'm getting ready to run. If I wasn't on a screen, I'd be gone.
For real. Like everything you dropped was so on point. I couldn't agree more. The thing that came up to me when you were talking about puzzles is I couldn't agree more. Like I often look at it as photography is you always have to be able to see yourself through the viewfinder, and you can't continuously Photoshop people into your life, because not only does that do you harm, it does them harm. So when I heard puzzle pieces and all of that, I honestly thought of the Stay Strong, Stay You logo, because I remember, this is actually based off of my life, of feeling like I was that broken puzzle piece, feeling like I didn't know who I was. And I had to recognize, like, I had to sort through these puzzle pieces of my life and like put together certain pieces that I liked, that I didn't like, and figure out myself and create this, where do I go? that version of me. But it wasn't, it was me putting the work into myself, but it was also me learning to trust God and be okay with who I am, and that he created that purpose within me. And that anchor, man, that's all. Oh, the way you put that is just fire. It made me also think about, like, I was then thinking about a storm, and often I think we can feel like we're like a droplet in the ocean and that we're so alone, but you alone have created a community where we are coming together, and we are the ocean sailing together through different storms. Yet we're here and we're going forward. We're going full force as a family and as a unity, because there is power within unity within community. So, man.
Whole squad winning, straight up.
Exactly. Well, the final question, what is the legacy or impact that you want to leave behind in this world?
Man, that's a big one. That's a big one. I want people to, when they see me, they see hope. Because that, I often talk about the turmoil I went through in my life and the difficulty. I actually was on the CW on Christmas. I got to be part of a special called the Prince of Peace. And, you know, I talked about all of this difficulty I had. I talked about the chaos. I talked about the abuse, the traumas, not too dissimilar to what you guys have had in your life. But you talked about this from jump. It's all about taking those traumas and that pain and packaging it into purpose. And so I decided to do something with that and give it back. So if you ask me what I want to be remembered for, is that like people saw me, and no matter what situation or circumstance it was, they felt peace that comes from the Prince. They felt his peace. It's not because of me. It's because I remind them of him and who he is. It's because I remind them that there's a God. It doesn't matter where you are, how far you get, how low you get, how ugly of a choice you made, is still there waiting with open arms, ready for you to come and embrace you so they can give you love. And I want people to see my life, and I want them to see what's possible. I want them to see that you're not defined by the pain and the things that you've gone through in this life. I want them to see a human being who dared to dream, but also took the steps and made the wildest dream a reality, just because I put the gift on the table, and then God met me at my level of obedience and multiplied the gift. So when you see it, it ain't even about me. The legacy is, he was just a regular dude and he did it. I can do it too. And so now, with everything inside of me, I urge you to do it. I urge you to stop playing small. Stop dimming your light because other people don't like it, because it's a dark world. And the world needs your light. It needs you. I'm talking to you, all of y'all. It needs your light. And if you're willing to embrace that, if you're willing to embrace your ambition that God placed in your heart, then your dream becomes a reality, and somebody else is led to freedom, and you leave a legacy, and you change lives, and you go to the grave knowing you were pleased God and you fulfilled your mission. So now it's just on you to do it. It's on you to take the steps every single day. And you already know why, but if you didn't, I was gonna tell you anyway. Because you can. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, gosh, man, it just leaves you speechless. You get so excited, so energized. Your words are always just piercing to my heart. But man, that's huge. I definitely feel that when you talk, and when you speak, that you definitely give hope. You give hope. Now, like I said before, I was definitely honored to be in your presence at the EYA Dallas conference movement, you know, and I saw my breakthrough. It was like I was there, but I never understood how I could take that, what I needed to do to take that next step. Like, I didn't believe like I could be that person. Like, I didn't feel like it was supposed to be for me, you know, even though God told me it's for you. I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. But when I surrounded myself around all these same like-minded people who had the same belief, who knew that God was there to do something in their lives, I knew it wasn't just me. I knew it wasn't just me. And what happens? Marcus Black and Ashley Faye come in there and they give you knowing that God is going to provide it for you. It's going to take work, but it's up to you. It's up to you. Bro, I appreciate you, Marcus. You continue to just drop the bombs. I love you so much. You've helped me so much on my journey. I am totally inspired by you and Ashley, and Embrace Your Ambition and your story. It's incredible. Again, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I appreciate you so much. And I can't even explain in words how much love I have for you. And even what last week when I was in a dark moment and you were able to help me through that. It was it was a big turning point. Becca can confirm that, because I mean, I got off the live and I jumped on the phone with Becca and I was like, yo, bro, like I needed that today. Because you give me hope. And no matter what, there's going to be days where I fall. I get back up and I keep on going because I already know what I overcame. I've seen bigger and worse things already. What I'm in right now is nothing compared to what I've already been through. So I appreciate you, Marcus.
Yeah, I love and appreciate you. I'm grateful for you that I got a chance to meet you and hug your neck. I get to do it again in a couple months, and just for who you are and to be a support system and to be in your corner and watch you continue to become all God created you to. I'm grateful.
Yeah, I know, Marcus, we haven't met yet in person, but like you just said, we about to. But what I can say about your podcast, bro, you are 110% a hope and a peace dealer, like 100%. I have sat so many times. You're already loud, but I turn you up even louder because my eardrums need them, my heart needs them, my soul needs them. And I have just sat gaining so much more faith within myself through you. And obviously there's moments of just crying because you have this magical man that is just pouring so much love and energy and hope into yourself. And I love it because you can also just go back and replay it and replay it and replay it. So I know this is not the end for you. And I know that the world is going to continue to get all the hope and the love and the faith through your messages and just by who you are as an individual. So I cannot be even more thankful for you being here, for you being in our corner. And tell us where people can join the EYA family and all of that, because it truly is a blessing to be a part of the family.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you. And from the first time I saw you talking with Trent on the live a while ago. It's been like a long time ago. And I was like, no, there was something special about you. And seeing you be consistent in the way that you support. People don't understand that, like, that consistency leads to the life you want to live, because that's how I've gotten where I've gotten, is because of consistent support, not predicated upon what I get in return. And that's who you are as a human. Like, you just give, and you are a light, and you shine in darkness. And I've always seen that. And so I'm privileged to be able to connect with you. And I can't wait to meet you and do that thing. You know, I'm super excited. But
Yep.
If you want to know where to find us, man, you can hit me up at mblackspeaks. That's where I am on Instagram. Also, you at the top of my page, there's EY Ambition on Instagram. That's the squad. If you want to learn more about the family, how you can join our incredible community, you go to www.eyambition.com, and then there's a link. There's all the links, the event, the Denver, if you want to join us there live, everything is there, but you'll see the family. You click on it. It's a monthly membership. You pull up, and that thing is growing. I anticipate it'll grow significantly after our next event, but we'll keep it real intimate. We're just going to have some fun and support each other. Lock arms, go make all our dreams come true. So if you want to be a part of that, you want a life-giving community and a place where you can just be who you are, a place where you can just belong to a group of people, like-minded, like-hearted, and you can become all God created you for, this is it. Pull up because you can. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Join the freaking family. I know myself and Monica have absolutely grown so many different ways just by simply joining that community, and invest in yourself, because it's the greatest investment that you can make. So any final words, Monica?
Now, I just want again to say that, yes, I am a proud member of the EYA family. I have had nothing but joy and happiness and abundance and prosperity, just being around people who continue to add value into my life, who inspire me, who encourage me, which is the biggest part. Because it's not just, I see them growing and see where they're going, and it excites me. But to know that I have the ability and they're encouraging me to continue to do what I'm doing to get to that level. I'm super excited at what God has for all of us. But definitely excited for you and Ash and everything that you have going on, Marcus, because I know that sometimes I think about where I was a year ago. And I know we all think about those things sometimes, is where I used to be. But I'm so glad that we are where we are right now. You know what I mean? Because this is where we're supposed to be. And then next year, God's going to have us at a whole new level. So to the top, y'all.
It's up, Leo. I had to shout her out, by the way. Like they keep mentioning the name Ashley. If you don't know who that is, Ashley Faye Brandstetter. That's my partner. Literally one of my best friends on the planet. But the reason people don't often understand, like the depth of the relationship, and it's because I'm an ordained pastor, have been for years, but I had my own season of spiritual burnout. And, you know, I was in a place where I started to lose some of that hope myself in humanity and some of the faith in who God was. And this tiny human, little blonde hair, blue-eyed Titan, was just on fire in her faith and wanted to do something so big. And I was like, I recognize that person. That used to be me, until she reminded me. And I didn't used to be you, that is you. And through that connection and that relationship, and through Embrace Your Ambition, I was able to restore my faith and make that whole and restore a severed tie that had been between me and my relationship with God. So it means that much to me. And so I just salute her. I honor her for the human being she is, for the faith she possesses, for how hard she works. Like every single day we have a conversation, how we can give more to our community, how we can be more, how we can give more value. She swear to you, this lady right now is creating stuff to add. And I'm like, girl, you is crazy, but I'm with it. Let's do it. We'll be crazy together, and we will all. And you know, the point is, everybody's like, man, it's so lonely at the top. I'm like, yeah, that's because you went alone. It don't have to be. So in this community, it's not going to be lonely at the top, because everybody locking arms and we all going to see each other up there and enjoy the view together. So that's what it's about. Shout out to you guys for having me. Shout out to this community. Listen, guys, you keep rocking with these individuals. Look out for them to do some things. I swear to you, I see it. I don't know when it's coming, but a virtual event, something is coming. It's on the horizon. And when it comes, you better be the first person in line to get it, because you can, because what you know is they're going to take good care of you, and they're going to provide value. And they're going to make sure they make your lives better so that you can join us all at the top. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are definitely going to bring Ashley on the podcast as well. But we personally know that two flames shine brighter than one. And you guys are bringing that heat. You guys are bringing that energy, and you guys are not doing it alone. We are here with you, and more people are to come. Well, with all that being said, guys, continue to be the resilient warrior that you are within this game of life. Continue to color, and remember that giving your pain a voice is a strength. So with all that being said, stay strong, stay you, because you got this.
Peace.